the no problem people. Information provided by Virginia Tech Transportation Institute.
Visit George Mangan Insurance in Ocala today at manganinsurance.com.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
All right, first day of summer. Let's see, summer starts this hour, right? Or an hour from now, summer starts. So enjoy the last hour of spring. And then after that, you can put your bathing suit on and go swimming. Whatever defines summer for you, I don't know. It's time for Ocala Magazine Radio. Philip Glassman and Jessi Miller are in the studio, and they brought somebody who does something we like a lot, media production. Joy Avery is their guest. So good morning to all three of you. How are you guys doing? Where are you?
I thought I've been enjoying summer for weeks now.
I know.
That's a new one for me.
But the scientists want you to know that today is the day. 11:54.
So when I was sweating at the beach yesterday, it was not summer.
It was springtime sweat.
Oh, okay. I was just telling Jessi I had my kids there, and after 3 days on the beach with my kids, I was like, They definitely kicked my butt.
And your wife points to the hospital and she said, I had my kids there, and you had your kids at the beach.
Well, I'm not married, so that was not an option. But yeah, we have Joy Avery here today, and she's at my old school when I was a young boy, Osceola Middle, and she does AV communications there, and I'm going to let her speak to some of the things she does there.
Good morning, Joy. How you doing?
Good morning.
Yeah, and we've bumped into you at the Student Media Festival.
Every year. We
nice.
do. 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years. Wow. Were you the little girl with the camera when you were a child?
No, actually, I was the one teaching the little kids. Elementary was my beginning.
No, but I mean, when you were a little girl.
No.
You didn't have a camera?
Nope.
When did you get involved in it? When did
how'd you get interested?
Find out you had an interest in that?
About 10 years ago when I attended Full Sail.
Oh, you went to Full Sail?
Yes.
Awesome. Oh, wow.
What an amazing facility that is. I had the privilege of going down there and going through the facility, and it's a first-class facility.
Yeah. We had a couple of visits ourselves. So what was the thing that made you want to learn how to do media or visual media?
A couple teachers at the school I started at in Orlando had finished the degree, and we were talking about it, and I really have a passion for the library as well, and they offered a degree at the time that was educational media technology science design, and that covered the gamut from television production, media, and to the library. So I can go in and out of all flexibly with my degree, but with the camera and how movies are made is always intriguing. You know, you always watch your bonus features. Well, now I have the secrets to the bonus feature.
The secrets to the bonus feature.
I miss bonus features with online streaming.
Yeah.
Like you don't get to watch the director's cut and the behind the scenes and all that stuff. And that's
I
the
know.
best part.
Yeah. They're funny in themselves because some of those little mix-ups and things in it, they're so interesting to watch.
So are you teaching in Marion County schools right now?
Yes, this is my 11th year, I believe, at Osceola Middle, doing 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
So did you come here because we've got a very successful media, like every year at the Media Festival, Kevin or somebody will announce, hey, we got more awards than anybody, right?
Yes, and some of our videos from our county make it actually to state competitions down in Orlando at Jim Harvin.
That is cool. We've had some superstars come out of there too, right?
It's funny because in every aspect of Ocala, the charities and the schools, there's always something that's in the nation, which I find, or in the world for that matter.
That's right.
Unique.
That's right.
To offset our low statistics too.
We have
we have some lows, but we offset it with
we
highs.
have that, but it's not fair. We have the most sprinkles, like for ice cream, that come out of Ocala.
Yeah, we do.
Well, that's the company that makes the sprinkles is here in Ocala.
Well, that explains it, doesn't
Brands?
it?
The Signature Brands actually owns that, and yes, that's a tidbit I found out from one of my clients.
By the way, chocolate sprinkles are not really chocolate. Just to say.
And Jessi, you had allowed Joy to do something very unique. You and Philip took her on a tour and become immersed in the workings of Ocala.
Yeah, she actually spent like the better part part of a week shadowing us, really as we worked and as everything happened. She even sat in on staff meetings, multiple kinds, editorial meetings, staff meetings. She saw how we produce everything. She got to interview our managing editor, our graphic designer, me. She talked to Philip. So she got to know at least the production side, that's pertinent to what she's teaching and what she's learning. She got to know the ins and outs of that with our company.
And we owe that to Jessi because, Jessi's always coming up with these creative. She's an artist, obviously, and, our graphic designer, but she's always come up with some creative way to bring people into the magazine or what we're doing to kind of grow OM. But, on the shadowing point, I was in a meeting and I came into the meeting and I turned around and then
we didn't tell him anything about any of this.
Who are you? I'm shadowing you. You really are shadowing me. I was like, I wouldn't know who you were. It was almost like Mr. Deeds, the butler and Mr. Deeds.
Yeah.
That's great.
So, Joy, are you going to take the knowledge that you gained from OM back to the students, and will you be producing your own magazine this coming school year?
I don't know about my own magazine, but I do we do a live broadcast in our studio every day. But as far as taking it back, absolutely. I thoroughly enjoyed learning and shadowing and reading and interviewing all the different aspects, whether it was their work and their software aspects or their knowledge, and about how they grew in their passion. And hopefully I can inspire my students to continue going forward with theirs.
You do that every day? You have a live broadcast every day?
It alternates year to year, but last year I did 3 days a week.
Okay.
But my students were 5 days a week working on it.
What is it, like the news in the morning?
It's the morning news show. We have an intro, news features, stuff like that.
Yeah, those guys win some awards too for that stuff, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, Osceola's always been a leader when I was there.
Because you were there.
Well, I don't know about that.
And Joy, do you find that when the students are that age, when they find something themselves that they really enjoy and have a passion for, does that follow them throughout school and then they eventually do that as a career?
Most of my students, I would say over 80% of them move forward with the television production. They go through high school, whether it's Vanguard has a great program, Forest High School, Bellevue, they all have great programs for the digital video production. There's 4 years. 3 is a program completer. 4 after that is you can still continue through the program. But most of my students, I have had a good bit become president of the Student Television Network for the country. They have a whole team. They have elected officers, and a lot of them come out of my program, and they follow through high school, and they become president, secretary, and they continue through UF communications, journalism. I have several students at Florida State as well doing that. And actually, I'm proud to say I have a returner becoming a teacher at Vanguard in TV.
Really?
Production.
Oh, that is
Fabulous.
sweet. That's nice to know.
great.
I'm excited.
Do you know what the hardest thing is for us when we're judging the videos? The hardest thing is when there's a perfect one, because one of the questions on the form we fill out is, what can you do better? What could they do better next time?
Right.
And we're supposed to write, next time you might want to try, and if it's perfect, I don't know what to say. So I just say, order a pizza and celebrate. Next time you might want to try ordering a pizza and celebrating because you did an amazing job. Yeah, so.
That's funny.
When your students are part of the Student Media Festival and you get the results back from each of the judges, do you go over them one by one and
Yes.
point it out to them? How do you do that without hurting their feelings?
Well, going into the class, I always tell my students, you are your own worst critic, but you have to be able to accept criticism.
Right.
And you can't take it personally.
Yeah.
You can only learn from it.
And you really can't grow and better yourself in whatever your craft may be if you're not taking that, constructive criticism and trying to learn from it.
I feel like as she interviewed all of us that one of the first things that all of us said was develop a thick skin.
And
And have your own sense of what is good, but know that a lot of things are subjective, and even if they're not, a lot of things can be improved, and just be open to improving your work,
And you're absolutely right. As an artist, as somebody in the media, and with social media, I mean, the thick skin thing is a really good.
Well, that's true.
It's whatever your work is. You know what I mean? Like, there was that chop wood, carry water. Whatever it is that you do, you want to do
Imagine
the best
that
at it.
if I chopped wood and carried water and I still got picked on. It's like, you are the worst wood chopper, and I can't stand when you carry water.
I feel like your angles
this is
could
an
be
analogy
sharper.
for anything you do in work-wise.
Philip, what do you look for when you have brought all of your staff together in each individual for each job?
What do I look for in each one?
Yes.
We look more for maybe not someone that's so trained or so skilled, someone that we can kind of train up who's not already been trained by someone else. With regards to, we also look for someone, or I look for someone that really, they'll go above and beyond what it takes. And they're not saying, oh, well, we're here from 9 to 5 and it's 5 minutes to 5 and I'm leaving. Someone that's more committed to what we're doing, everything that we're doing. We're kind of like a family, and someone that may work for me might have a serious problem, can call me any time of the day or night. And I'm going to make sure that I take care of that for them. And when we have a problem in the business or whatever it is, we need them to step up and kind of work together. So I kind of look for loyalty.
Want me to call him in?
And
you can come in. You can come in.
And Joy,
Mark, you can come in. You don't want to come in? You'll be in here. No?
And Joy, all of the things that Philip just said, do you try to relay that to your students when they're potentially applying for jobs?
Absolutely. And one of the big pushes in Marion County that comes out of the CT program is the soft skills. Every year we've started having a soft skill competition. But like he said, professionalism, communication, teamwork, critical thinking, problem solving. If those students know that there's 5 minutes left and they're going to bolt, then their work ethic. They have to learn to strive for improvement, have that thick skin, have the drive to want to do their job.
Well, you know what? That comes down to your attitude. I guess to sum up what you asked me, though, your attitude is everything for me. You could be the most talented person. If you have a bad attitude, you're probably not going to work for me. So I think it's, how you mentally look at things, and, a positive is everything.
And Jessi, how do you relate to Joy's students about the balance of work and your own creativity and family?
I mean, they're kind of young to be thinking about their family, but no, so for me, and I think for anyone that works with us that has the kind of, like what he said, the passion and the attitude, and that we go the extra mile and all of that, it's because we love it. So sometimes, like this weekend, we've got some work to do, and I have some other finishing things for an art show and this and that. So it's going to be a worky weekend, but most of it is so fun that I'm like, oh, good, I get to do this fun work this weekend,
work is fun.
And I'm going to bring my daughter with me part of the time, and so I integrate my family into it. I mean, my kids have been on so many photo shoots in their lives, it's not even funny. And they love it because it's cool,
We're both really passionate about the magazine, and Jessi and I are very similar in some ways because we're very creative. I'm an artist myself by being an actor, and she is, in her own right. But, we really enjoy what we're doing there, and, it's exciting. And then she brings her kids. I always have my kids. So it's like one big, kid
so basically
house.
I'm saying I don't think I know the difference between work and family, but
we did try to adopt that kitty, and someone got pesky. The little pesky one. We tried to adopt it.
Really?
The next day, I said, "Let's get him Friday," and then on that Monday, someone had already got
he was
pesky.
adopted.
Oh, that was his name.
We were going to make him the kitty.
The one that was playing.
Wasn't that a fun video? That was a fun one. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Kitties everywhere.
He pushed a button. I didn't know which one he pushed. I couldn't figure it out.
And Joy, how do you how do you let your students know that they should embrace technology because it's changing all the time and they should have open minds to learn things?
Well, with that, as we've said, the Media Festival, a lot of my students produce films and videos and stuff, and I keep a big allotment of them. And as we've moved out of different software applications, they actually compare, the product from that to the products now that they produce, and they're amazed at the things that they've learned and how they can apply them to actual, what they see in Hollywood is what they can do in my classroom. They just have to take the time to learn and apply themselves and hopefully find that niche to continue with it. So it's mostly about dedication.
Tell me about the content of whatever it is you're creating, because a lot of times we get hung up on this part, the technical part, like how you do it. How do you impress upon them that once you know how to do it, what equipment to use and all that, really the people are going to show up to read the magazine or to look at the movie because of the content.
The art of storytelling.
Yeah, the story.
Yeah, I do a lot of weeks of scripting and storyboarding, and it's amazing at how the kids in the room turn into artists and how their storyboards come to life.
Oh, really?
Just on paper, yeah. very talented.
That was another big thing that we talked about a lot. When she was like, what qualifications do you look for someone to come in? What do they need to know, and this and that and the other thing. And obviously the technology is important. You need to kind of be up to speed on it.
Yeah, right.
But I would rather you learn that, get better at the technology part, or you can pick that up easily. It's the thinking, it's the creative thinking, it's understanding, understanding the theory of layout and balance and the content and everything like that. It's so much more important, and that good disposition and that thick skin to be able to take criticism and work with it and roll with it and change it. It's like an ever-changing thing until it goes to print, or
and it's a real
until it's on your screen.
Sometimes it goes to print, and it's still ever-changing after it's at the printer.
And the magazines and the movies and all that it's really a team effort.
Absolutely.
Something with what you do, Jessi, your art, it's you. There's nobody else. It's just you. So
right. When I'm painting, it's just me. But when we're making a magazine, my favorite days are when I have a photographer who is just on point with, I'll have a vision and I'll explain it to everyone. But if you get a stylist, you get a photographer, you get a model, you get a designer, you get the writer, and it all comes together right, then what did I do? I'm putting it together in the end. I had a vision. I'm making sure, directed. But I feel
producing it really.
The best work is just when everyone is on their best.
And you're making a really good point. I want to tell you a real quick story. We speak to authors all the time. Quite a few of them have had movies made of their books. And we'll always ask, well, how was that like with the movie making part of it? And they go, well, I really had nothing to do with it. And you think, well, wait, yes, you did. You wrote the story.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they didn't write the screenplay, which is a different discussion. But it is interesting how they don't feel like they really did anything.
Right. Well, that's what I said. That's what I mean. I think when I've done my best, I haven't done as much. It's because I've picked the right people and conveyed the vision correctly. Yeah. And then they roll with it.
And also there is no I in the word team. And that's kind of how we look at it over there. But, with the magazine, since I've had it and since the first month we did it myself with some people, and now we've brought Jessi in from the second month going forward, and kind of me and Herb aligned ourselves with regards to content. And then rebranding it as OM. But, our whole basis is what is the content.
I love the piece you did on Mark Emery, by the way.
Yeah.
And that is, hats off to Jessi for that.
Hats off to Mark Emery for giving us great stuff to work with.
Yes, let's say hats off to Mark Emery first, and then hats off to her second.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
And Joy, what are some of the fundamentals when the students come in the very first time and they want to learn? What fundamentals do you teach them?
Well, communication for one thing, definitely. I teach them how important their body language is, as well as listening. You have a hard time communicating if you're not an effective listener.
Oh,
and that
so true.
I do a whole month on silent movies and how important it is to be able to read body language, be able to know that your body language is sending a different message than you're thinking.
Mm-hmm. Can I take your class? That sounds fun.
And actually, some of those they've created some award-winning silent movies.
So do you find yourself being more critical? Like when you go to the movies, do you say, oh my gosh, I can't enjoy it as much as somebody else because you know so much about the ins and outs of it?
Yes, I do. My husband knows I had to take a lot of film classes at Full Sail, and we'll watch movies, and I'm like, oh, they did that, and he's become more of a critical viewer himself. And honestly, so have my girls, because they've learned the shortcuts, how to do green screen, stuff like that. And
really?
I've taken away movie magic.
Correct?
Yes.
We're actually looking at them right outside of the studio here, and they are cute as buttons.
Yeah.
So, as I said, the movies. Oh, and that new movie coming out with Will Smith, the Twinning, that it's called Twinning.
Yes.
Okay, so 2 months before that came out and previewed, and my kids learned how to do it. And they learned how to make it in Adobe Premiere Pro. And so when they all saw the preview after that weekend, they came back and they're like, oh, I can do what they can do.
Oh,
and
nice.
It was just amazing to see they were, as the year, they're challenging in the beginning, and they're like, I don't need to do this. And then as they learn it, and they're like, oh, wow, I can do what Hollywood can do.
That is cool.
All of the students are on their own when they submit the videos to the Student Media Festival. How do you tell them that if their parents want to step in and say, I'm going to hold the camera for you? How do you tell them that you can't do that or I'll be disqualified?
It's actually changed through the years. Now we're requiring much more standards. A lot of it is our festival is based around the state festival, so you're actually, as the years go by, now we have to get a permission letter from whoever filmed it to say, you have my permission to use my footage.
Oh, really? Really?
Yes.
They have to sign off.
Yes, now it's becoming that, yes. But there are a lot of one of the big sections we teach is definitely copyright, intellectual, all derivative, all the different copyright rules and laws, so that I'm not held accountable, but that the students, that they're not breaking any laws, because they have to learn that in any industry, print industry, sitting here with Ocala Magazine, there's all kinds of things.
I mean, there's
And
so much
online.
bureaucracy today. It's unbelievable.
What was that movie that was in the news or TV show that had a Starbucks cup in the scene? What was that?
Game of Thrones, right?
Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones.
Did you see it?
I didn't see it.
Did you see the picture? Well, now, would that be considered an Easter egg? I mean, that was an accident, right?
Yeah, it was an
So
accident.
do you purposely put
Well,
those?
on a period piece like that, it's definitely an accident.
So do you purposely put Easter eggs in, or is that something like you
Not
notice
like that.
afterwards?
No,
Not like that. Sometimes.
that's a Megatron mistake.
Joy, what impressed you most throughout your week of it being immersed in OM?
The flow. Everything was smooth. The teamwork, like they said, the collaboration. There wasn't an I. It was all getting feedback from each other, getting feedback, whether a phone, text, sitting in front of you. They had resources and they had each other. And that was a really big.
How do you know when you've been successful? How do you know that? What tells you, oh man, we hit it out of the park?
Me personally,
Yeah.
when I look at my students.
Oh.
It comes back to not what they do in my classroom at the time, but when I can look over at the trophy shelf or I can look at the awards on the wall from them. There's no Joy Avery on any of them. It's their names, it's their pictures, it's their publishing. That's when I've known I've hit success.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I feel the same way about that.
How do you work with the powers that be at your school, like the principal and vice principal, things like that? Are you able to teach your students the way you want to, or are there still some rules you have to follow?
There are rules. There's district policies. There's definitely rules. As a TV production teacher, and as a journalist, even there are limits too that you can push. Like we want to do public service announcements, and one thing that's outcoming is the juuling. The e-vaping, and unfortunately, we need props for stuff like that. So it's like, ooh,
Really?
There's a little, being a TV production has its,
So if you make a public service announcement that has a usable audio that doesn't require the video, bring it to us. We'll put it on the air.
Yeah, we'll do that.
I will go back into doing the radio PSAs.
Yeah, or one that works both ways. It's visual and audio. So yeah, that'd be cool. We'd like to have them on.
Larry,
And we'll have the kids on too. Talk about it.
to go back what she said about listening, that's the first thing when I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts that they teach you as an actor.
Is to listen.
And it's also in business skills that listening, and it's so challenging sometimes because it sounds so easy to listen, but it's not. It's an art actually. My mantra that I wake up every day and say, I'm focusing with humility while listening, and you say, oh, it's so simple, but again, you've got to focus on it because you catch yourself, talking, and when other people, if you let them talk, you're able to hear different things, and the outcome is different.
Right, absolutely.
That's a keen observation, Philip.
Because you know what you
Absolutely.
know.
It's challenging. So easy to say it and so challenging to live it. It's a different.
I love that.
When she was talking about it, it brought back to my daughter when she was in elementary school. She went to Madison Street, and they have a great drama program.
Yes.
And the kids might not ever go out and try to be professional actors, but that theater drama that makes you professional. And part of what they would do in drama sometimes would be a PowerPoint presentation, but they would give it in a drama. They would give it a certain way. So that's so important, and they should. He's doing the eye on the kids.
There's the thing that they say: being irreverent in acting is just being real. And if you can't be real in life, you can't be real in an actor, you can't be a good actor. And that's something I learned a long time ago. So people think, oh, well, you're an actor, you're acting. If you're real, you're really not acting, you're being real. And that means to be irreverent, which, it helps you in your life in general. Acting school helped me become successful in regular business.
Well, Joy, you're going to be very disappointed with my video making skills because I just shook the camera so I could get your two children in the picture.
Well, there's so cute. They're out here. We got a great view of them today. Your husband is going, what's going on over there? Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you all for being in here. Is there an article in the magazine or an upcoming magazine
about this? Nope. It's just things that happen behind the scenes.
Yeah,
it's just, part of a what is it? It's like, what is the program that you did the externship through?
Through the CTE, the Career Technical Education Certificational, bringing the house skill. There's been a big push nationwide to bringing basic skills back. You have home ec, stuff like that. So
which I love that because it's actually vocation. It's teaching vocation. Really, it's an actual way to take something you learned and go out into the world to make money with it or have a job doing it.
Yeah, I made a potholder. Did you?
Well, where is it? I could have used it this morning. I burned my finger making my eggs.
Jessi, good to see you again.
Great.
As always, Joy, thank you for coming in here. I love what you do. Do you ever have a student that you say, you know what, you'd be perfect for Full Sail?
I've tried.
Yeah?
I have. It's
not yet, huh?
We have a lot of gators that,
Oh, they don't want to go. Oh my gosh.
They want to go to UF.
Do they have a good program up in
They do at UF.
Yeah?
UF and FSU.
Oh, okay. All right.
UF has become one of the most challenging schools to get in the country. It's
yeah, it is very,
very high end now.
Philip, thank you for what you do, and we love your magazine. Thank you for bringing us a great quality magazine every month. Thank you.
We try. Thank you for having us.
We will be right back. This is WOCA Ocala.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville,